Good morning, everyone, or I guess in my case, probably more good evening. Lovely to see you, some new faces. Always good to see that. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to just kind of quickly just connect for a few minutes, and then I think what we can do, what I'm planning on doing today is going through the Genius Insight, maybe answering any FAQs that you may have. The other thing I did actually decide to do today, which is kind of slightly different, is I compiled a list of some recent FAQs or some recent bug reports that we've been going through, or that we've been receiving. And I think, at the end of the day, I want to try to help everyone obviously understand how to use the Genius more efficiently. And, when we get bug reports, it's obviously it really helps us because it helps us identify the issues. And then equally, I think, from your side, if we can actually go through some of those potential bug issues, it might just give you a bit more kind of freedom and flexibility in terms of picking up, little bits and pieces of information from the Genius. But again, if you do have any questions, we have a chat function somewhere on Zoom, probably on the bottom right-hand side somewhere. By all means, you can ask any questions. So I think what I'd like to do now, I am presenting on a MacBook Pro. Oh, by the way, my name is Ryan Williams. Pleased to meet you all. Um, I am one of the founders of Insight Health Apps, one of the developers behind the Genius Insight. I'm one of the developers, and everyone else, like you, are the co-developers. And the reason why I say you are the co-developers is because, honestly, without your feedback and without your bug reporting and everything else, we really wouldn't be able to be as far ahead of the curve as we are. I do see there are a few questions coming in. So what I'm going to do is kind of read the questions out loud, and if I want to answer them, I will. If I don't, I'll just pretend I don't see them or forget them. So I'm not too sure. We'll kind of so here's a few questions here from Bev. Bev, thank you so much. Um, Bev decided to double down and give us four questions. Okay, if I run someone's scan one day and the day after I recheck and there's more reds than the previous day, what are the explanations for that? I get things that can happen within a span of a day, but for some elements to go from green to red that fast when there is not much activity on their end. I agree with that. And what does it mean to say liver under the today's stress panel is green, but when it's red, um, sorry, I'm just busy admitting people. Uh, and what does it mean if I say liver under the body, today's stress panel is green, but red under the body panel? Okay, what does that mean? Okay, so I think what you're saying is that, um, and what does it mean if I say liver under today's stress panel is green, but it's red under the body's panel? Okay, I will actually explain that too. That's part of our sort of double testing process. If I want to run some identical elements to multiple people at the same time, can I just create a collage of all the headshots, upload it so that it's a group profile, but then when it gets analyzed, it is picked up using the group's harmony, disharmony? If I purchase a library, can I add it? Can I add to it, or is it like a closed thing? Okay, Bev, these are great questions. Thank you so much. I will actually get to them. For those of you that have just joined us, thank you so much. My name is Ryan. What we're doing today, we're going to be all over the place. I can certainly guarantee you of that. We will be answering any FAQs that you may have. We'll be going through some technical support questions or just some bugs or issues that we've seen in the past. And then with a bit of luck, we can kind of touch on the Genius and the Quanta and remote biofeedback and kind of what's been going on behind the scenes with that. But Bev's got a few questions here. We're going to kind of keep it, we'll take the easy ones first. If I purchase a library, can I add to it, or is it like a closed thing? The short answer to that is when within the library modality function, we got two options. You can either buy libraries or you can create your own libraries. When you buy libraries, the proprietary property of that library belongs to the library creator. As a result, you cannot edit, you cannot change, you cannot delete anything within that library. Just for the simple reason that, typically when a practitioner creates a library, the items are typically sort of synergistic with one another. And to kind of chop and change and remove a few items, I know it might be more beneficial for you in that immediate case, but just in terms of actually maintaining the library integrity, no, you cannot do that. But certainly, by all means, you can use your own created libraries. the other thing as well is that when you have created libraries and you share them with other practitioners, what is cool is that when you make updates to those libraries, those practitioners will get updates as well. There is a sync button. I mean, obviously they'd need to click on the sync button. But as a result, it enables that your library is like it's like a kind of organic, living, breathing organism where you can constantly add to it and change to it. There's a question here about running identical elements to multiple people in the same time. Can you create a collage of all the headshots? Yes, you can, as a group profile. When it gets analyzed, it's picking up the group's harmony and disharmony. Yes, it is. Bev, if it's just a picture, great. If you could somehow maybe get on Zoom and get everyone to talk at the same time. I don't know, maybe. I can't, you know what? This is kind of it's speculation, but look, at the end of the day, if you could get everyone on a Zoom call and get them all to speak at the same time, I really think that would contribute to the collective consciousness. So that might be worth you considering. There's another question here about if liver is in two different panels, why do they give different results? Good question. And there's a kind of two-part equation to this, is that when we run the scan on the Genius, it's like a kind of two-part scan that we do. So for example, on the system overview, when we run the scan and you look at the results, we're looking at it's basically a kind of two-part scan that we do. That if you look at the system overview results, just like the main items under the mind and the body and the biofield, etc. When we run the initial scan on that, we're running the scan on those individual items. Now, when you go into the secondary panel, into the actual sub panel, what we're doing is that we're actually running a deeper scan where we're looking at the correlation between the items in that specific panel. So in the case of like your body systems, as an example, you've got liver in there, but essentially when it's that second scan that it's doing, it's an actual scan against just the individual items within that specific panel. So what you may find is that if one item is red and one item is blue in another, it's basically the stress or the impact that it's having on that specific panel. Now, I know it doesn't really answer your question in terms of, which is the right one, or sort of which is the right answer, which is the wrong answer. The best thing to do for that is, if you're looking at the body systems, you've got to equate the body systems in terms of the liver in relationship to the actual body system. So if it's coming up red, then obviously that is of importance in relationship to the body system. If you're in another panel, it's basically in relationship to that specific panel. So really what I suggest you do is just try to identify the specific items in that panel and then look for a kind of common theme or a common pattern with that. Another question here regarding a scan on day one, scan on day two, something that was red, something that was blue. Look, I think as you use this over a period of between 5 to 7 times on your client, I think you will begin to find a common theme and a common pattern emerge. My general sense is that running a scan on a client every day is not really ideal, just for the simple reason that, however you want to look at it, there's still a consciousness interaction. The body is still adjusting to those frequencies. The voice, it's still receiving the voice, it's still running a scan over that 24 hours. If you are running therapies, even if they are long distance therapies, the body is still in a state of sort of natural vibration. If it is listening to the frequencies, obviously the body will adjust. But my sense with this is, again, I always go back to the clinical context. And first and foremost, within the field of bioresonance, there's no perfect device out there. There's no 100% sort of accuracy. But with all this technology, I always maintain to look at the clinical context, from the system overview to the general overview, wherever it is. If you don't understand the clinical context of your client, it's very difficult to look at the results of the actual data and be able to extrapolate meaningful data from that if you don't understand the clinical context. One of the other benefits with obviously understanding or reviewing the clinical context is that it can help you identify the false positives. If you know something is coming up and it's looking honestly just crap, well, you know what? Hey, you just need to apply your own, something called common sense as well. You apply your common sense and you extrapolate the information that's important to you, and then the information that does not form part of the picture of the clinical context, obviously you can discard. Now, one of the exciting things with the development of our ancient information, some people like to call it artificial intelligence. We've developed ancient information or ancient intelligence. And one of the benefits with this is that as we begin to evolve with this and develop it, more and more and feed it more information, you're going to be able to ask a lot of these types of questions where you can look at the clinical context, you can look at the specific panels, and you can ask Genie AI for their correlations, etc. That is something that we are currently working on right now, where we've built our own ancient intelligence sort of server. We're busy populating the information. It's going to be essentially like a closed ecosystem. The only challenge that we are having with that is just trying to populate the correct information and make sure it's kind of giving us back good results. At the moment now, the current AI setup that we've got, and please, again, if you do have any questions, my name is Ryan Williams with The Genius. Just go ahead and ask questions on the right, but I will go through some more technical support questions as well. But just going back to the AI, where we are right now is obviously, very, very beta one, beta version 1.0, where on most of the panels you will find a Meta AI option. Or just a Genie AI. I think you can click on that, and then we basically have scripted respective prompts on the respective pages, and then it will essentially generate data for you. And then you can review that data, and then you can essentially compile a report. But that's kind of phase one, beta 1.0. Obviously, where we go from that, it just takes time and money. And we already do have our own AI. We have been testing it for the last 2 days, actually. It's giving really crappy results. But it is something that, it just takes time. We need to upload more documents, more manuals, and everything else. So it's a bit of a learning curve, but I do anticipate in the next kind of 4 or 5 weeks, we will have a better version of AI out there as well. So as I said, on most of the panels, you will find Genie AI. It does give you some really cool insights. You will find the analysis or the results that Genie AI give you. We do find it is kind of pretty varied. It is pretty sort of wide and varied. And look, at the end of the day, the benefit with using ancient intelligence is that it's just giving you more sort of crunching power. I think, when AI first came out, or when artificial intelligence first came out, I think we were all, sort of really scared of it. We didn't like, where it was going. And look, we are still very scared of it, and we still don't know where it's going. I mean, I'm the first to accept that. But my feeling with ancient intelligence is very similar to my feelings with computers. The computers that we had 15, 20 years ago are very different to the computers that we have now. In fact, the computers of 15, 20 years ago have way less processing power than even our phones do. And with that said, it's just, technology is advancing. We use computers on an everyday basis. What is our hope is that with our closed loop ecosystem is that it's going to be able to generate, relevant data. It's going to be able to do the sort of learning module as well. But at the end of the day, it's just giving you more processing power. When you look at that test matrix of the system overview, if you look at the general overview and you think, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start here. Well, you can just go to Genie AI, you push a button, and it will provide you with some really cool insights. And, really, like a lot of the prompts that I've been looking at, I mean, you could literally do an entire remote biofeedback session within 5 or 10 minutes if you wanted to use Genie AI. We'll see if we can kind of get through that today as well. But I just wanted to touch on some of our thoughts, regarding Genie AI. It is evolving, technology is evolving, AI is evolving, and to me, at the end of the day, I think the benefits that that's leveraging AI together with your own skill set. Because again, it can't replace your skill set. It can't replace your compassion. It cannot replace your human connection, but it can certainly help you crunch data and understand numbers. And that is what is kind of exciting to us. So with that said, what I'm going to do is see if I can share a few pages. Dum-dum-dum. We'll see if we can. Okay, can everyone see this Word document? If someone can just say yes or something.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Oh, super. Hey, Karen, thanks so much.
How are you?
Okay, so essentially what I've done, I went through a series of bug reports that we get. So for those of you that are curious about a bug report, if you've never heard about a bug report, we do like to profess that our software is 100% perfect and we have a 100% uptime. But if you're looking at my nose, it is certainly growing like Pinocchio's right now. I don't think there's any software that's like that. So, just to be candid, we do have bugs, we do have issues. We have a full-time software development staff. We are working on this all the time. But if you do encounter a bug, in the Genius, under the navigation, there's a bug reporting option. You can go ahead and take a screenshot or take a video and you can send us that bug. That bug is really helpful to us because it gives us your kind of device specifications and everything else. Because, a lot of the issues we find really has to do more with the actual user interface, not the actual bugs, but just if you have it on maybe landscape mode or portrait mode or whatever that may be, we do find a lot of those issues. It just kind of helps us identify which devices are actually causing the issue. Okay, let's move on to the bug reporting here. So we got one issue here. When I hide the avatar as clicked on, it does not hide the avatar. Instead, it switches to the other type of aura, like maybe aura fields or something. Please correct this toggle switch so that it properly hides the avatar on the regular aura function. Thank you. You're welcome. Stop share. Maybe we can try and do this a bit quicker because maybe, you know what I'm going to do actually. We're going to go through a few of the bugs. We'll see if we remember them. And then we'll kind of whiz through them. Okay, so that was the first one. That's got to do with the avatar. Let's kind of discuss a few here. Every time I want to synchronize my own created libraries with the two arrows, the app crashes. Okay, there's a few reasons why an app will crash when you are syncing your database to our server. The first thing is that you need to look at your actual libraries that you've created. If you have put strange symbols within your library, that may be contributing to the error. If you have put in, inserted or copied and pasted, pages and pages and pages and pages, you may find that that is certainly going to create an issue as well. And then obviously the last issue may have to do with your actual straight and simple Wi-Fi powers or your actual internet. So, if it is crashing, at the end of the day, it would be crashing for everyone. If it's just crashing for you while you are creating libraries, I really want to urge you to kind of edit your libraries, have a look at them, and then obviously always make sure that you got the latest software update as well. Okay, since the last update, items of one of my custom libraries went missing. Originally, there were 458. There's 128 left. I restored the library to 302 yesterday. Okay, let's see what this gentleman is talking about, or this person, should I say? Okay, so if we have a look over here, this is the exact same library. It is in German, right? Yeah. So it's in German. So this may have to do with a German translation. I am not too sure. But if you have a look over here, very clearly it shows on this one screenshot, there's 306 items in this library. On the other screenshot, the exact same, and there's 458 on this library. So, in all fairness, I would probably say for me, this is looking like a bug from our side. However, whenever you see an issue with your libraries, everything is stored up on the cloud. So if you are missing a few libraries or you feel your libraries are just acting a bit funky or something like that, just go ahead and log out and then log back in, and then make sure you download your libraries again. And that typically should correct the issue. We will talk about the custom playlist. A lot of people complain that not all the libraries are added to their custom playlist. We will get to that as well. But I just wanted to share that quick information with you. And then, hi, I've misplaced all my libraries. Can you please advise on how I retrieve them? Yes, if you've misplaced all your libraries, you've got to buy them again from us, I'm afraid. No, I'm only joking. Essentially, with the libraries, obviously, as I said, everything is stored up on the server. So that's a pretty simple process. If you have lost your libraries, you've never lost, well, maybe you've lost your libraries, even if you lose your device, no problem, because they are always stored on the cloud. So you just go ahead and log in the top right-hand corner of your client records page. You can just go ahead and download your libraries again. You'll find them over there. Okay, library export not working. It will not send bulk codes. It is sending empty libraries. Here's a recipient screenshot of the libraries, then mine. Okay, so let's just have a look here. This is the Egyptian problem child, I'm sure. Yes. Okay, so if we have a look over here, it's pretty much the exact same library on the top. This is Dr. Swan. Sorry, you probably shouldn't be seeing her name. I call her my Egyptian problem child. We've got an item count here of 35, and then here we have a item count of 0. Now, I'll tell you straight off the bat. Okay, it does show that she's connected to the internet here. However, when you see an item count of 0, the libraries, pretty much the libraries, a lot of that is basically hosted online. So if you see a 0 count, either just be a bit patient, it'll just take a while to populate, or go in and go back out, and then the libraries will populate. But this is just purely an internet population issue. That's all it is. It's not a bug. You haven't lost all of your data forever or anything like that. This is just purely has to do with Wi-Fi connectivity issues. I'm currently giving you a presentation now from South Africa, and the whole day today, even in the shops that I've been at and everywhere else, the POS systems have been like extremely, extremely slow. When it's slow, it just takes long for data to kind of process. So when it's showing a 0 count here, it's because it just has not populated from the internet. The other thing to bear in mind, if you are working offline as well, there are some limitations, but obviously before working offline, you just want to make sure that you've got, kind of all of your libraries and that downloaded through the internet. Okay, so we'll go through that bulk export process. Still not sending bulk codes, the same issue. Okay. Here's another one. Hi, I have a Second Genius app on my Samsung phone and it doesn't sync anymore. Update with my scans on my Samsung tablet. I rarely use it, but I noticed this today when trying. It's because it's not as new as my new tablet, or is there a syncing bug problem? Okay, so there's a few issues here. So this is an Android issue. This client has 2 separate Androids, and her client data is not syncing. So there's a few thoughts here. First and foremost, if you are operating 2 separate Genius licenses, and if they're both Android or both iOS or whatever it is, always try to make sure they both have the same iOS software update. I think that's the important thing. The second thing is, in order to get your clients from device A to device B, on device A, you need to sync. Then on device B, you typically need to log out, log back in, and then sync to download your client files or your client database. So if you are, in other words, if you're losing a client, if you are using a client on device A, if you open up device B, your client will not be there. This is actually probably a shitty bug design, to be honest. We need to fix this. So there should be, Karen, your hair looks really nice, by the way. Thought I'd share that with you today. Anyway.
Nice of you, thank you.
You're welcome. So, essentially, right now, you will have to log out of device B and then log back into device B and then download your client profile. Just thinking now, that is not an ideal kind of situation. We should have a way that we can actually sync your client file. So we'll kind of play around with that. Okay, my system does not want to save the playlist. We will see if we can get to that. We'll try to remember it. Aura email is non-functional. Okay, we do get a lot of emails with this, people saying my Aura email is non-functional or I cannot send an email. It is, if you are using an Android or an iOS, well, it's actually more an iOS. If you are using an iOS, you need to configure your Mac Mail account. So even if you have a Gmail or a Yahoo or a Hotmail account, on your iPhone or your iPad, there's a mail button. You need to click on that mail button and then you need to you need to configure your Gmail or your Hotmail or whichever account you have within that Mac Mail, and then you will be able to send and receive emails. Just for the simple reason that if you are using a Gmail mobile application, a Gmail app, we can't really pick that up and open up Gmail, but we can certainly open up Macmail. So certainly, bear that in mind. So Ruth, that's something I would suggest you have a look at. Sure. Okay. When a client uploads, I get a notification, but it would also be nice to be able to run that upload directly from the details screen. Means they just click on the name of the specific client I want and they treat. I agree. There's a lot of nice things I'd like to be able to do, and I really do appreciate feedback like this. It is valuable. We will get to this. I do agree that, right now when you import from the Quanta capsule, it's a bit redundant. We can improve that. But, there's only so many hours in the day, and we only have so many man hours. But again, I really do appreciate this feedback. And, at the end of the day, stuff like this, it just helps improve your experience. It helps you be able to use the Genius much more efficiently and much quicker as well. Each time I click on the small field in the bottom of the screen of the Aura picture where it says Genius AI, the Aura image changes completely when I step back in by clicking on the Aura. So in other words, it looks like the Aura image is constantly changing, and that is an absolute bug from our side. So we'll have a look at that. Pending session load function degraded with the last upgrade. You have to try it several times. Now you have to press the start session. Okay, so we need to have a look at the pending sessions. And then I noticed on my past history that the information from two sessions were combined under the same date and time. Okay. Theoretically speaking, essentially what this client is saying is that we save the last 5 test results, and this client is saying that two sessions were combined. Honestly, how that happens, I have absolutely no idea. If anyone else has experience of that, please, by all means, let me know. Um, I can't even comment on that. Phew. Oh, I'm bored. Okay, let's change. Let's go to the Genius. We'll come back to some of those. Share. Where are we? Okay, we go to the Genius. Share. Okay, let me know if everyone can see the Genius, please. Yeah, you can. How it works. Client profile. Uh, uh, uh. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get to the Aura panel. I know that was an issue. Oh, the other cool thing is we changed some of the AI prompts today. So those of you that have your AI, that are using your AI, we changed the prompts on the system overview page. I'd be kind of curious for your feedback just to have a look at that. And, obviously, what we are trying to do is, we're trying to improve the prompts and everything else. So your feedback is always really, really beneficial. So have a look at that and let us know. And those of you that do have the latest update, I noticed that a few of the bug reports that we were getting, people hadn't updated to the latest version. So the latest version, we've included some new AI and some different panels. Okay, we're going to, let's go to the Aura, begin session. Okay, so the one bug we had a report that the avatar does not hide if we click on hide avatar. Okay, if I go ahead and click on hide avatar, okay, looks like the avatar is hidden. Switch to aura field, show avatar, switch to aura layers, hide avatar, switch, show, switch, show. Okay, so look, to the best of my knowledge, this is sort of working, so I don't think this is a bug. The client that reported this, you may find that they are just running an older version. And again, I really want to stress, if we do have a new version, please, I mean, take the chance, download it. If it bums out, well, it shouldn't bum out, but it's just, we get a lot of these reports, and first we've got to go through what version that you're operating on, and some people are operating on, a year-old version and they're complaining why their stuff doesn't work. So please certainly bear that in mind. Let me go through some of the other bugs quickly. Okay, went through the custom library issues. Library export is not working. So let's go down to the library export. What should we do here? Wait, we want to do the library export, don't we? I was trying to figure out how to show you. I don't know how to export this to. Export. Okay, so it's kind of cool. Okay, so let's say we just wanted to. Okay, what do we want to do here? We wanted to do a bulk export, right? So, Kayla, Connie, can you guys give me some email addresses, please?
You can run mine if you want, Connie. Clanmother13 at Gmail with a K.
Another 13.
13 at gmail.com. Yep.
Connie, what's yours, darling? Search for library name. Okay, Connie's playing hard to get. Okay, well, let's just take these two as an example.
She typed it. It's Connie Minnis at yahoo.com.
Oh, wait, I probably blocked Connie, haven't I? Connie, are you not feeling the love? Connie probably wants to talk to us. Connie, I unmuted you so you can talk. You can talk your life away now if you want. Okay, so I apologize. Okay, so here we've got 3 email addresses, and then we click export, right? Oh, where do we enter the emails? Why? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Did these not work like this? Com.
It's a kid.
Oh, beautiful. Exports. Okay, so this is basically how to do a group export. Obviously, I haven't done this for a period of time. I'm assuming, just correct me if I'm wrong, you basically put in a whole bunch of email addresses in here, right? You go to export, and you essentially put in each email address here with a comma, correct or not? Connie, anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
I've never done a group. I usually do mine one at a time, but why don't you try both of ours again? I would assume you should hit it and with a comma or a couple spaces
Yep.
and just hit whatever, select all or a couple.
Clanmother13 at Gmail, right?
Is that
Correct?
correct? Okay,
Clanmother13 at Gmail.
correct.
Okay, select, 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 select.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
Oh, wait,
what,
hang on.
what about without the comma in a space? Just curious now.
Huh.
You take the comma out and just space. Just curious. I've always done them one by
Oh,
one.
take out the comma and then just put the space.
Let's see if it will take it. I've just never done it that way. Nope. Just one at a time.
Huh.
Downfall.
Well, ain't this dandy? Okay, so I'm very pleased to announce that as a result of this lovely event, something is not working here. So, my sense is that when this lady was creating a bulk export, she may be putting like multiple libraries in here or multiple emails, and perhaps they're not working or something like that. So I can't really. Um,
Ryan, maybe what she was referring to, and this could be just it, is when you're sending a whole bunch of libraries to someone and they have to import it. A lot of people make the mistake of where it says cancel bulk and, yes or all, or,
uh-huh.
oh, sorry, okay, is that they will hit okay rather than bulk. And that's always the thing that you've got to remember is that when you're doing a bulk export, is when you import it, you got to hit the bulk. A lot of people automatically went, oh yeah, I'll just put these codes in, the load codes, and then they'll hit okay and it won't go. So maybe that was her issue.
Yeah,
I don't.
no, I'm just looking now. No, I think what she's saying is that not all of her libraries are actually going through. Okay. Oh, great. Okay. This is what this is what Dr. Swan is telling us. What she is doing is she is sharing a whole bunch of libraries with a client. Okay. So let's say it could be maybe 50 libraries so if she's sharing a bunch of libraries with a client, she is maintaining that not all of the libraries are actually showing in the bulk share code. So if we pull up the Genius and let's say Connie Menas at yahoo.com. Okay, Connie, I've sent you 13 libraries. Just tell me if you get the email with 13 libraries, please. Okay, so while Connie's busy looking at that, we'll kind of keep moving forward. Dum-dum-dum-dum. Okay, still not sensing the bulk codes. Okay, so we do need to look at those bulk codes. For those of you that are on the line, I'll be honest with you. There's some things that I know about the software, and there's obviously a lot of things I don't know. But my understanding is that when you are sending a quanta capsule, you should be able to send it to more on a bulk export, you should be able to send it to more than one email address. That's my question. If we don't have that, it's something that we definitely need to have as well. Okay, there's another email here. My system does not want to save the playlist. Okay, there is one important thing that I wanted to share with you regarding the playlist. In order for the playlist to be kind of operating at a kind of optimal, it is best to make sure that all of your libraries are assigned to all of your clients under the settings, maybe. Settings. Okay. Under the settings, there's an automatically assigned libraries. If this is turned to off, it means that you have to manually assign respective libraries to each and every client. Not all of your libraries are going to be assigned to each and every one of your clients. Now what happens is you decide to create a playlist, right? And your playlist contains other libraries that you have not assigned to your client. When you try to create that playlist, all of those libraries and all of those items are going to be missing. So when you look at the playlist, you might think, oh my gosh, there's a bug. I added 50 items from the libraries to the playlist, but you weren't aware that of those 50 libraries that you had transferred over, you had only assigned maybe 20 libraries to the actual client. So again, my suggestion to you is to always come to the automatically assigned libraries. You make sure that is turned on, and then at least you've got all the libraries. For the library testing, don't forget, you can always, when we get down to the custom libraries here, we can go to delete. Okay. So what you can do is that, let's say you've got add all libraries to all clients, but now Within your libraries, you've got a bunch of animal libraries, as an example. You obviously don't want those on your client. You can come to the actual library panel and you can delete specific libraries that you do not want to be tested up front. So as an example, maybe I just want to, I can go ahead and remove any of these items or any of these libraries, and then they will be removed from the actual testing process. Now, I actually would suggest that you do this before you actually run the analysis, for the simple reason that, as I did mention to you beforehand, with the system overview, not with the system overview page, but with the way that scan works of ours, we have that kind of two-part scan. We have the first part, and then the second part scan is when we look at the relationship of all the different items against one another. So my suggestion is to rather delete the items that you don't want upfront instead of deleting them after the scan. So you just go ahead, you select the ones to delete, they are deleted, and then you can go ahead and click on begin session. So that's just that in terms of your playlists. When a client uploads, I get a notification. Import clients file this every run a new session. Each time I click on the small field in the bottom, not gonna notice the past history, two sessions were combined. Okay, so there's another question here about hi, I made two playlists with a lot of items, but when I put them into the whole tray, there are only about 25 items, but all the items are still there when I made them. Okay, that simply has to do with not assigning the correct libraries to the correct clients. Plain and simple. Okay, just about the AI subscription, I've upgraded to the new I. There's some feedback here from Diego, and I really want to thank him for that. Hi, Ryan. I hope you're well. I've upgraded to the new recent Genius version with AI and have been exploring this new function in detail. Although I find it interesting as a practitioner, I don't feel it looks as professional as it should. The wording feels general and obvious, and it doesn't look at the whole picture and data of the scan to give a more comprehensive analysis of the individual situation. Just my 2 cents. By the way, no issues with a custom playlist. So, and you know what? This was submitted to us over a month ago. Since then, we've banned Diego from all of our channels and we've charged his credit card double and we've kicked him off the Genius community. I am only joking. No, this kind of feedback is good. And he did submit this to us about a month ago. It was when we launched our Genius with our first AI. Since that, we've gone through multiple iterations, and we will still continue to go through them. So, again, I've been involved in the world of software development and sales for some years. By all means, do give us feedback. The feedback really helps us grow. It helps us improve. And again, if you've got suggestions in terms of how to improve the software, by all means, please, we would absolutely love that. I'm just going to go ahead and see if we have any other questions. Okay, Connie, thank you so much. When you received it, did you get the full 13 items in the bulk within that library, right? Yes, okay. So Dr. Swan reported that error. We will certainly review it. But what I think may be happening, it may have to do with her being online and offline because I believe she is in Egypt at the moment, and I know she does have a lot of Wi-Fi issues, and typically she uses it without Wi-Fi being connected. So that certainly may be contributing to some issues. I think it's important, in summary, if you are using the internet, if you are using the Genius, just be pragmatic that if you can connect your device to Wi-Fi, once a day or whenever it is, just to update your data and everything else. I really think it is beneficial. I know a lot of you do not like to use the Genius on your clients with Wi-Fi turned on. I totally respect that. Just realize that when you are trying to import or export or do anything that requires some type of Wi-Fi, connectivity, you certainly will have some issues with that. Oh my gosh, we've gone through all of the AI stuff because I'm bored of it. We've gone through all the technical support things because I'm bored of those. Let's go back to the Genius. Okay, we got another few more minutes. What I wanted to share with you is you may notice on the new Genius program, um, we have included some new AI prompts that you may have found. Those of you that do not have the latest software update, please don't be shy and go ahead and update your software. I think it's on the iOS. I think it's version 1.25 or 1.20. We'll have a look now. So on the voice analysis page, we've actually got a no, we actually now have the Genius AI. Yeah, Genie AI.
Ryan, I have to say, looking at the ancient intelligence there and just the assessment and analysis just on the voice part here, I was just coming to that. That's brilliant because it really breaks down the whole fast Fourier for people. And I think it's brilliant. It's a really great added feature. So thank you for that part. It's
You
amazing.
know, yeah, you're welcome. It's actually really cool. And I'll tell you what I like about this, but I don't know whether you can do it on your iPhone. I'm on a MacBook Pro, but what I like about this is the good old copy and paste.
Mhm.
And now this is probably won't be around for long, just by the way. We'll probably remove the copy and paste. But right now, while it's live, copy it, open up a Google Documents, maybe call it your Genius Report demo, which is what I've got. And then what you can do, you can actually begin to build your report. So what we're going to do next week, and I actually want, I thought I could have, I thought I would have been able to do all of this today, to be honest with you. But I want to show you how quickly you can do a complete Genius remote biofeedback session from beginning to end with literally very little training. And that is something I was kind of excited about because when you combine AI, you literally can go through the entire process within sort of within sort of 7 to 10 minutes. Then obviously on the quantum capsule side, we've now got the directory that has now been up and running. We've got some practitioners that are on the directory, which is kind of cool. People have been booking appointments through there. So essentially, from the time you book that, from the time somebody on the Quanta Capsule makes a reservation, I wanted to take you through that whole process. But we'll certainly do that. We'll certainly do that next week. I just want to end off with showing you where some of the new AI features are. We've obviously got them in the voice page. We'll have them on the image analysis page. And again, I don't think it will actually analyze this, but essentially what you can do, when the data comes up, just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, put it into an online Google document, and then you can spend 5 or 10 minutes, edit it, and create a report. Or what I'm not going to say to you that you should do or you could do, which probably not ideal, but anyway, you could copy all of the AI results, right, and create one long document, and then you can copy and paste it into your own favorite AI and say, can you compile this into a nice, cool medical report or energy vibrational report with no disclaimers or something like that. So instead of you having to manually delete the data, you could basically just upload it to some type of AI, and then they could kind of further refine that for you. Obviously, the end goal here is we'll have everything in-house. And obviously, with the benefit of it being in-house is that your information is not going to be displayed on public. As an example, there are a lot of people out there. In fact, some of our practitioners are training people to take screenshots and to upload it to ChatGPT. Look, it does give good results and good data. I'm certainly not going to dismiss that. The problem is with ChatGPT or with any AI environment like that, it's basically open information. Um, I don't know what the HIPAA compliance is with AI, to be real candid with you. But obviously, just be sensitive that you are essentially putting that type of data out into the big, good old World Wide Web and the world of AI. So I would say just be kind of sensitive to that. This is why we do have our own built-in AI. This is why we are building our own AI engine because we want to ensure that we do maintain compliance. But that is, certainly something to think about. So we've got it on there, and then we've got it on the functional zones. We've got it on the secondary pages. We've got it on the entangled insights. I'm not too sure what the entangled insight results are like. I don't think they're very good, to be honest. But here we see we've got, Genius AI here as well. General overview, we've got it. On the libraries, we'll have the AI. We've now added it onto the secondary pages. So you can see we've got the secondary pages here for AI as well. So here you can see this is the secondary pages, the solfeggio. What is this? Yeah, so again, You can just totally copy and paste and dump it into your online report and then go through it manually and delete all of the text manually. Do not use AI. No, I'm only joking. Um, so we've got it over there, secondary pages, and then we've also got it on the functional zones. If I can show you that as well. I could swear we had it on the functional. I think we got to select one. Yeah. So once you do the scan on the functional zones, your AI will then appear as well. So as you can see, we are expanding this. We will put it in obviously sort of more and more pages, but we don't want to just kind of sort of throw it up anywhere and everywhere. People ask us why you have to pay us for AI. You don't have to pay us. Well, I guess you do have to pay us, but you know the challenge that we have with AI is that literally every single call, every single time we use it, we actually are paying on a kind of daily use. We pay every day for every single call, every single button that you push. And for us, we could offer it for free for sure, but then you wouldn't have a genius in about a month or two, because with everyone using this all the time, I don't think we'd be able to sustain it. So we do offer a sort of subscription charge, for this. If you feel it's too hefty or something, by all means, we can work something out. If this is something that you really like and it's something that you really enjoy, but you can't justify the $17 a month or whatever it is, then just email us. We're an energetic healing company. We want to heal people. We want to help and balance people. So I'd rather kind of, I would rather focus on that, versus not being able to justify a subscription for the AI. But on that note, I'd like to thank all of you that have attended. This has been posted live onto our YouTube channel. Those of you that do get this, please don't be shy. If you do have a social media, if you do have Facebook and whatever else have you, please just copy this link and kind of post it around. If you are an affiliate and you like to make some extra money, make sure you put your affiliate link in there and you can make some extra money as well. So don't be shy to do that. Always share the genius. And for those of you that have taken the time out of your busy schedule, thank you. We got some really cool things coming up. Next week, I will be back online. What I want to do next week is just go through a complete remote biofeedback session, how the Quanta capsule works, and actually go through the whole booking process, show you the emails that we receive, and then show you how you can actually conduct a true remote biofeedback scan without even actually speaking to your client, if that's something that you wish to do. But again, for those of you that are here, thank you once again. Have a great weekend and catch you later. Thank you. Bye.
Ryan, are we going to get a summit soon? Offhand?
Yes, we are.
I
Yes,
really
I
would
need to
like
make
to
a
get
list.
one in the next month or so. We're
Okay,
kind
let
of
me connect with you tomorrow, actually, because yeah, I'm just trying to get some new speakers, and I got some really cool speakers. So yeah, let's connect tomorrow because
perfect.
I'm in South Africa now. It's bedtime. Well, it's going to be bedtime for me soon.
Yeah, I just wanted to just let you know before we go. I had David Hickey here and did a whole sound bath, and I did a group of all the people I was teaching in between.
No
And
worries.
this went
Okay.
over well for the whole entire sound bath for the crystal journey. But what we did here was a massive activation. I want to thank you. The whole core was a hot pink and purple. Whatever we did and opened up in this portal at New Denver was felt by lots. There was a ripple. So those group things, just to let Bev know, it works really, really well. So
Bev, hit up Karen. She is an absolute wonderful resource and she is always happy to share information. So don't be shy, please, by all means. If you guys don't connect, always you can find one another on ilovemygenius.com. That is our social community website. And I'm sure you can meet, I'm sure you guys can connect there as well. If you do not have each other's details, and I'm going to probably hang up soon, just hit me up and then I can share your details with one another respectively as well. All right. Thanks, everyone. And thanks very much, everyone. Have a good weekend. Cheers, eh? Bye now.
you guys